Carolyn DeBoer, according to many, is growing colder and darker. I sense the dark side strengthening in this one. And Bama Nation likes it. Somebody get this man a slab of ribs as some support skin and Pabst Blue Ribbon, maybe RC Cola. We got any of those around? Maybe. Roll Tide and welcome to Tight Sports, the Alabama football minicast. Roll Tide, Bama Nation. Thank you for thumbing over and joining me today on whichever virtual space you have selected for your viewing pleasure. Tell everybody to lock me in, and let's talk about your Crimson Tide, the greatest dynasty the world has ever seen. I'm talking about Manchester United. I don't want to hear nothing about them doggone people in Dallas, Texas. I don't want to hear nothing about them people that row the boats in the Philippines. They ain't got nothing on the Tide. Okay, how many times in a row they don't won? Before we get rolling, share a pound with a brother and drop that thing right on the subscribe button. Let the world know you rolling with Tight Sports and share it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what we're doing. Drop it right down in there for you as you settle in. Only the power of the people can blast this channel to the nether regions of the 22,200, 22,000. I settle for a good 1,500 right now, though. And don't forget, if I successfully stimulate the habit using your gray matter and make your funny bone jiggle, please remember to poke that like button right in the eye. Poke it right there in the eye. You got glasses on. You wear goggles like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Just poke it right in the eye. Let them know what's going on. Folks, right off the bat, during the SEC had a media teleconference on Wednesday, and your boy Eli Drinkowitz, out of the blue, he wanted to make, I don't know if he was making fun or if he was nervous. He wanted to know if Caleb DeBoer was going to wear the black hoodie of death again for the game on Saturday. I mean, that's a real quote. It could have been a joke, but that's what he said. But how did Caleb DeBoer respond? Stone cold silence, folks. Stone cold silence. That's right. He didn't say nothing. Not a, he didn't say a word. He didn't smirk. He didn't nod. You know, he just was like, I bet you in his mind, he was like, this old boy here want to talk about shirts. I want to talk about some real stuff. Didn't say nothing. That's not the Caleb DeBoer that we knew, that when he came over and he cried that we lost in the national championship game and had a tear in his eye, and he came to Alabama and he was all shucks, almost like a big old Opie from Mayberry. No. He wears a black shirt and he don't want to talk about it. He been wearing it since, I guess, Georgia. I hadn't even really noticed it. Some people told me about it. I don't care. Let's go play some football. You know, Drinkowitz actually called his shirt intimidating. Is this man shook before the game? I mean, he got a pretty good squad. I'm going to get to that later. But that's not a strategy to get into this guy's head. That's like, it's like a strategy of surrender being engaged. You know what I mean? Some weird stuff. But he got problems. He should be worried. Like I said, the boy didn't flinch. He's coaching like somebody that don't need gimmicks. Maybe he tried a lot of gimmicks last year and realized that don't work in the SEC, at least not for the winners. The hoodie is not like it's just like the black hoodie for the boy. It's almost like it's like a uniform for a hit man with a headset. The man's coming in cold, y'all. Y'all wanted it. What have we created here? Perhaps another legend? I don't know what are they going to do in Missouri. They're going to come up with some kind of countermeasures. Maybe they're going to have a blackout or a gold out. Maybe they're going to just come in. Everybody in Missouri and Columbia just not going to wear shirts that day. No shirts. None. Only appropriate memory tactical units. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, they're panicking up there, man. I like it. That's how you start off the press conference. That's crazy. But, you know, we loving it. You know, it's kind of like Saban straw hat, except he never wore on the sideline of the game. But it's like a symbol of dominance. You know, this gray hood, there's a hoodie thing. It's like an evil side of the force. You know what I'm saying? And let's face it. You can try to be the good guy or the winner. It don't work. Just go ahead and accept it. They think Alabama and other schools live on the dark side of sports. Fine. We'll be that. You know, just consider us, you know, the Darth Maul, or the Emperor, the Empire, you know, the Star. It got blown up last year. Now we're putting it back together. But you better watch out for it. Worry about is that ray gun. Because once we get it back to working again, yeah, we blowing up your planet. That's what you better worry about. Don't worry about what color shirt we got on. Worry about that. Worry about that the Death Star and that gun working again, because we're gonna blow up your collegiate planet. You know what I'm talking about. All the people that know about the Star Wars stuff and over 35 years old, explain to the people that's under 35 because they may not get it. But so he tried to play it. Drinkowitz tried to play it cool, but that quote was like nervous energy, if nothing else. You know, you're talking about wardrobe. You're not talking about the game plan. Like, they're gonna let Ryan Williams play a little bit more of this. I don't know if you know this, but Ryan Williams played about 40 snaps last week. He's seen a decrease in snaps this year because, other people blowing up. Maybe it's a plan to make sure he don't get banged up. We don't know. He got hurt in that one game, so maybe they're not trying to throw him out there that much. Is he the third receiver? Is he still the second receiver? Is he the first? I don't know. I don't care. Them boys had real production last week in a real game, 246. But he don't want to talk about that. He want to talk about people's shirt. Matter of fact, I don't even, unless we're related, we can't talk about my clothes. If you tell me I got a mustard stain right here, right now, that's cool. But first thing, I ain't talked to you in my, a year since the last time I beat you. We can't talk about my clothes, homie. We can't talk about my clothes. I got somebody to talk about my clothes with, okay? I call my brother. Of course, my wife saved me my collar. Maybe my collar ain't right. Look at it. My collar ain't right. I got a wife for that. I got a daughter. You know what I'm saying? My son may say, Dad, you like a goofball. Okay, let me go change, son. Outside of them people right there, we don't need to talk about my clothes. No. Don't talk about my clothes, man. No. I don't play them games from where I'm from. No, I don't. You maybe where you from, Drinkowitz. You don't talk about clothes. You don't talk about what I'm wearing, especially what you wearing on Saturday. Oh, man. What kind of crap is that? Anyway, his sideline demeanor has changed, meaning Caleb DeBoer, he got fire, fury, and now apparently he has fabric intimidation. Missouri is they're undefeated though. That's why I don't get it. 5-0, you roll in there, you untested. Hey, they say Alabama's untested. But Missouri, you decimated Central Arkansas 61-0. My God, you beat Kansas in a struggle, 42-31. They trailed deep into. I'm talking about they took the lead in that game with seconds left in the third quarter. Trailed the whole time to Kansas. Kansas is now 4-2. No judgment, I'm just saying. Then the Raging Cajuns took them down 52-10. That's what I'm talking about. South Carolina got some issues. But South Carolina, 29-20. That's a pretty decent quality win. But when I think about the fact that Vanderbilt smoked South Carolina 31-7, something going on in South Carolina. I don't know. Something going on. Vanderbilt smoked South Carolina out. Then y'all beat them by 9 points. Now watch that game but I give you credit. We'll get to it in a minute. Oh, you can't forget about this big outstanding win that Missouri had against Missouri. I'm sorry, not Missouri. Missouri had against UMass, where they won 42-6. Ooh. Hey, that's putting it on somebody. Nevertheless, though, no matter what you think about those victories, those teams, they are undefeated. But Alabama got a little bit more battle-hardened, hoodie-armed, respect. We're going to respect everybody that lie ahead on this schedule until the whistle blows. We'll get you on the field, throw the disrespect out the window, then beat you like you stole something if we can. Is this supposed to be like the new rivalry subplot? And I don't know, y'all. I think the media, you got to be careful with the media. I'm going to release something. It has something to do with the Texas quarterback, how they doing that young man wrong. I'm going to pull out everybody that said he was the next coming of, and he was finally going to get their Heisman for the Mannings, and he still could. But them same folks are telling our Shannon, it's raining, man. Don't worry about that. It's raining. It's raining. Just wipe it off. It's raining. And you know what they're doing? They're releasing on that man's head. But anyway, they're trying to hype up all these games. Like I had to look at the game with Vanderbilt last week. I said, well, Vanderbilt is this, and their numbers are this. Their rushing defense was crazy. They were like number 7. Missouri's like number 1. Vandy gave up about 77 yards before last week, and we snatched 140 something from them. Well, Missouri is giving up about 69, 66. They're number 1 rushing defense in the nation. UMass, Central Arkansas, Kansas, which was a hard-fought game, in South Carolina, and let's not forget those Raging Cajuns. So this is kind of hoodie versus hype to a certain extent. Now, They do have some things that Alabama need to be concerned about. And we're definitely going to address those because those running backs are dynamic. And that guy, that quarterback, if I can pronounce his name, is it Baloo or whatever it is, the boy can run. He don't stick in that pocket if he don't have to. But seriously, if Missouri's team or staff is worried about the outerwear of the Crimson Tide, they better watch some more game tape because Alabama's not dressing for success, man. We're dressing for your destruction. We want to eviscerate your program. We want people to look at you and be like, man, what happened? That's what it's all about. So during the days of primary school, it reminds me dressing for destruction. You know, we had something called corporal punishment kids for everybody that's under 35 out there. And there were days when you was going to school, yeah, you need to worry about what kind of clothes you had on. So instead of going in there with your jams on or your Panama Jacks, oh, what was the other company used to wear? Ocean Pacific. I was an Ocean Pacific man, especially in the spring. You know, Mama, could I go down to Gapers and get me some Ocean? I was an Ocean Pacific man. But if I had flunked a test in the previous day, or if I got caught cutting up on the bus, or if I was, what else was a severe penalty? If you had done something or accused of doing something the day before, you able to escape the school, but you knew you had to come back. You ain't wear your Ocean Pacific. Oh, no. Oh, no. You wore the thickest pair of pants you could find. If I could have found them doggone pants they wore on the movie Sounder, I'd have put them on. I think they were made out of straight canvas. But the best thing we had, and you had to be careful, because on a March morning, if my mama would have caught you sneaking at the door with some corduroys on, oh, you going to get it twice before school's even start. You going to get it twice. When you going to corduroy pants on, how does it is outside? The good old days. I'm a better man for it, tell me. So some teachers young as they actually did not play, you know. Therefore, you had to play with pain. And what I'm saying is there was a time when I used to worry about what I went for school, depending on what went on, but this ain't them times. You got to move on. But I would suggest that Missouri dress for not for comfort. They need to dress for pain. Because that's what we're trying to bring to you. When you buckets and buckets and gobs and goo gobs and was the pallets and pallets of pain. Anyway, moving on. During the Hey Coach radio show, Kalen DeBoer took to the mic, and you know he was just trying to say he was ready, no fluff, no fear. I can say he's been very focused. I've noticed the difference between last year. I didn't really like listening to him on Hey Coach last year. It was videos. You can watch the videos at Alabama Crimson Tide channel, and he praised the team. Man, you know he was the preparation, the intensity in practice, the hunger that's building. You know, like a thundercloud over Columbia. You know, like we sending a storm ahead of us. You know what I'm saying? He said you could feel it. You know, it's just ain't like another game. You know, it's another statement. Every game would be a statement for the Crimson Tide, but you know, I don't. All summer I kept saying I feel something special. I feel so all the special got knocked out of my mouth as soon as FSU burned it out of my soul. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to say it again, but these guys are playing like they want to achieve something. Now, can you stumble against Missouri? Oh, yeah. The boy gave Mizzou a lot of respect, kind of respect you give to a mosquito before you swat it. But he announced their tempo, their playmakers. I mean, their ability to stretch the field. Their offense is clicking. It clicks pretty good, probably just like Vandy's did. It does if you just let them do what they want to do it. But to be honest, you know, Alabama's defense, it's gotten better at dealing with gimmicks, whether you speeding it up, whether you trying to keep people on the field, and you know you're going left and right and up and down. You know they've done a better job at sending quarterbacks to the locker room to get repaired. You know, get a reload, get a reboot, or send them back to the athletic complex. Like, hey man, what happened? But Missouri's about to find out what happens when you run this tempo against Alabama. I mean, because all I can say, you can go fast. That could be 3 or 4 plays. Your offense be standing right next to you, coach. Because once it all speeds down, when the ball snaps, guess what? Everybody's going the same speed. They're going the same speed. It's actually good for a for a defense that knows what it's doing, we like for you to go fast. That means my defense don't stay there long. Yeah, you may bust it and get a first down or two, but it's just the long stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really threatened by their long-term downfield presence, but, they can run the ball. Coach DuBois said that he hammered the word home finish this week. He got it etched in the locker room. He said Alabama's not just playing to win, they're playing to dominate. No mercy, no let up. He wants the 4 quarters of fury, and if Missouri blinks, they'll be down 3 scores before they know it. And that's what we want. We expect them to go out there and just keep this same momentum going. He said he applauded the captains. He said they're setting the tone, they're keeping the edge sharp, and they're making sure that the rest of the team is not sipping on that Kool-Aid of complacency. And not the rat poison from outside, but inside you're sticking your chest out, man. Vandy didn't want none of it. Vandy is over, baby. On to bigger and better things. Missouri, don't take it for granted. The team isn't satisfied with the move up in the rankings. They won a championship, y'all. Ain't about time somebody said these guys won a championship, and I don't blame them. Seems like it'd be something nice to have. In Missouri, as we climb this ladder, guess what they are? They are another rung on that ladder, a rung that you can put your hand on or step on and fall to the earth and have to start back over with no room for error. But nonetheless, they are another rung in the ladder. So when they asked him about what he wanted to do against Missouri, we know this offense, I hope people can see the difference between Slick Sheridan and Ryan Grubb. I think it's very apparent. We not even going to mess with Slick no more. He's yet one ready. And based on what I see, Slick probably still won't be ready. Like I said, 3 years before, with this offense, he won't be ready for this one by 6. He ain't even close. He just got the quarterback running plays down. He don't have all the plays. We probably was working with 40% of the doggone playbook last year, maybe 30%, or he had 40, but he only used 25% of it. This the board playbook, this Ryan Grubb offense, this thing is, it's a lot. But when they asked him, he said he wants to control the line of scrimmage. He wants to dictate the tempo, and he wants to force Missouri to play catch up. That's how they got Vandy. That's how you can get anybody, but even Georgia, forcing to play catch up. It's like one of them things. Like it's like when you even, I'm leaving. So if Alabama gets a head start, and then you catch up with me, all I gotta do is push out a little bit more, and you gone. Because it could be a close game. This running back they got, he breaks so many tackles. Oh, my God. So we can expect some blitzes and pressures and all that stuff. And Womack, whatever he did, I think it was Mr. Smith, Tim Smith. When he went from 127 yards, giving up rushing in the first half, and then they went to 9 in the second half, I expect to see improvements in his run defense. Because that's the biggest thing. But this is a serious rushing team. I think everybody we play is going to put their best foot forward rushing, unless you're just stupid. That's what you can get. You want to get something, that's where you can get it. Right there, rushing the ball until we put the clamps on it. So he's rallying the troops, and he wants to go out there and, want the team peaking. Just, peaking at the start of the game all the way through the end. Got to send a message out there that Alabama is ready to take on all comers. We ain't worried about what you're running because you about to run what we run. That's what's about to happen. Not here to share nobody's spotlight with them over in Columbia, Missouri. It's the show me state. We want to go there and show them something. So we'll break it down. And I just want to look at the different groups. If you would have just compared the two coaches, Caleb Boy has an excellent winning record until last year. But those 3 losses kind of messed him up on a D1 level, but it's still pretty good. But Drinkowitz, you should know, man. This man has been 26-5 in the last 5 years at Missouri. Yeah, 26-5 since 2023. That's what it is. And that's saying something. But I have to give Alabama the advantage when it comes to coaching because the experience versus elite competition is what puts the boy over the top. When you look at the top 10 wins in his career, this is where Kalen DeBoer has shined. But Drinkowitz is coming along. If somebody mess up with their recruiting, Oklahoma and Arkansas, and if you go look at the transfers, Drinkowitz knows what a portal is and he uses it. Ty Simpson versus Bo. It's not Shambo. It's Bo Pribula. That's the name of the quarterback. Simpson's going at it hard. 1478, 13 touchdowns, 70.3 completion percentage, one pick. Pribula is efficient at 75.9, and he's mobile. But like I said, most people believe he hadn't seen a defense like Alabama. But nobody would everybody's taking Ty Simpson to do more than just win this game. They're looking at this guy as like, where did he come from? What was Nick Saban thinking? They're all kind of crazy foolishness. He should have started him 3 years ago. Hey, when you ready, you ready. And he just wasn't ready. Now, Jam Miller, I would give Missouri this. Jam Miller, Kevin Riley, all my stable of backs, they're my boys. But production has been off. The numbers are not there for whatever reason. Whether it's only Jam can run for 100 yards, whether it's our line just can't block. I don't know what it is. But Ahmad Hardy, Jamal Roberts, in the second level, sometimes the line of scrimmage, and definitely out in the flats, them boys can book. Hardy is the SEC's leading rusher at 730 yards, 9 touchdowns. Roberts adds 350 more. We got some solid backs, but our rushing game, we rank 14th in the doggone SEC. You got to give Missouri the edge. Now we want to keep Mr. Hardy. He's at 730. We definitely want to keep him at 732 by the end of the game. Probably won't happen, but the boy can go. He can go. But we got to do something about this 14th stuff. Golly. I'm almost about to say, it don't matter until I saw Jam run for 100-some yards last week. I don't know what's going on. We got to fix that. Wide receivers, no. They don't have vertical threats, which is going to make that an easier day. Maybe see more one-on-one coverage with our guys, unless they use the flippity flam throw us off. But you guys stay on your man. But you may be sacrifice some coverage because you're not going to give him time and allow our linebackers in that front seven to worry about containing that run. So until they can show that they can beat you deep, which anybody can beat you deep once or twice, but consistently beat you deep, this is definitely an advantage for Alabama when it comes to wide receivers because that's one weakness they got. Now, I'll talk about it in a minute. Tight ends. Norfleet is solid, but he's underused. I saw him playing in the South Carolina game, and I don't know why they didn't throw to him more. Guess because they won without him. Well, with them, using them enough, kind of like we do with Josh Cuevas. We should be throwing a lot more to Josh, I think, because he's definitely been open. Cuevas is more dynamic. His use is more dynamic, where he's going downfield and setting up the block for somebody that's coming out the backfield or catching a pass behind him. We have the tight end edge, and when you add in Caleb Edwards, that freshman from California who's built like LeBron James right out of high school. Go look at LeBron out of high school. Look at Caleb Edwards. Same thing. Caleb Edwards just a little bit short. We have the advantage at tight end. Offensive line, they may have a tackle that's missing. And if I remember correctly, the left tackle, Caden Green, he's questionable. If he still plays, that means he may be hampered, but that benefits us because we got a young guy on that side of the field coming around there, and Youngzy Pierre. Y'all know Youngzy Pierre is a cousin of Courtney Upshaw? Must be in the blood. Anyway, Alabama line is still rotating pretty heavily. See, we got some issues with Caden Roberts. I don't think he played in the last game because his mother said something about it online. I ain't getting all that. But I would call it a push right now because they got an injury and we still rotating for whatever reason. Maybe we're still just building depth. Maybe we want people just firing off. I'm telling you, that freshman we got on there is that Will Carroll. or I know it's the Michael Carroll. Oh, he's nasty. Oh, he's nasty. For a freshman, man, he's nasty. He do his job. He's nasty. Matter of fact, people were impressed when they pushed Wilcom Formby to the inside and they had Carroll at tackle. The run blocks them dudes laid down. They said it was giving them a clinic. Now, I don't know what all the technical stuff they were talking about, but it looked good to some people that should know. And I'm going to roll with what they said because we got 125 yards out of Jam Miller. So, defensive line. Alabama's line has been hampered by injury, but what they did in the second half last week against a running team in Vanderbilt was very impressive. Still allowing 5.5 yards a game. Now, Mizzou's, they bring pressure. You know what I'm saying? They have depth. They have depth issues as well because they just don't have the people that we have. We have horses that are hurt. They don't have the horses. So I think with Edric Hill coming along, Saga, I think it's his name, Saga coming along, and other people we have coming along, and Imboa coming along on that defensive line, I think we can get better because we're still building depth because we lost so many people. At least 3 people that I can think of. The linebackers, Justin Jefferson, Keon Keeley versus Tristan Newsome, and you ever heard of Jeremiah Trotter? This is his son, Joshua Trotter. These folks are tackling machines. I mean, we just thin because of injuries, but I would tell you, them guys kind of get after it, but they're a little light. They're a little light, but they are high energy guys, especially Josiah Trotter. They asked him about Alabama during the game, a little interview he did. He said, asked him what he thought about Alabama. He said, it was the A. You saw them, and it was just like, hey, that's the school you wanted to go to if you were offered by, you wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? And then he added that he's just looking forward to the opportunity to just go and play them and knock some heads off. So Mr. Trotter will be there on Saturday ready to knock the heads off of our offensive players. I just hope that everybody understands that they pass the word around, post to your social media that Jeremiah Trotter wants to knock the head off of one of our players. Hopefully we was talking about one of the ones that was going to be running the ball. All I can say, Mr. Trotter, is that sometimes, whatever reason, this man's running my tackle in the sea, out there in the flats and in the off the C gap. So be careful what you ask for. You might get your head knocked off. Secondary, Bray Hubbard, Keon Saab, Norwood versus their Norwood and Pride. Hubbard's been elite as a strong safety. And you saw what Saab did last week. The QBR that we allow right now is it's in single digits. It's ridiculous. They have solid DBs, but they are vulnerable to deep shots. So whatever credibility they got right now, probably not going to be the same after the game. But we definitely got the advantage of the secondary. They loaded back there. What's crazy is my research finds that we even have a kicking advantage, special teams advantage. When you look at the strength of schedule between the two, we have the advantage by a country mile. They have not faced a Florida State, which we fell on our face, Georgia, and a Vanderbilt. They have not faced nothing like that. I mean, South Carolina and Kansas, please. And something that defense of South Carolina, they still figuring it out. They are still figuring it out. Key injuries, they're missing, like I said, maybe a tackle. They have a backup quarterback that's out and another offensive lineman that's out. But our injuries, Quay Russo is definitely not playing. He had more of him in the second. Jamarian Latham, Jeremiah Beeman is out. Ryan Williams was probable. I don't know why. And Jalen Mbakwe is doubtful as well. I did hear that Q Russo had he had suffered a broken foot. He was starting at a wolf position. He broke his foot during Georgia. He underwent surgery the following day. Coach DeBoer said that he'd probably be out for an extended period of time, not the entire season. No official timetable for his return, but he will be sidelined probably till early November, and depending on how his rehab goes, surgeries and all that stuff. Jamarian Latham is out to the season because of that That neck injury was just hurt. We hope that he can recover fully to play, but at least recover enough so he can fully participate in life. That game lasts a lot longer than football. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to hear that he's getting better. But in the absence of Russo, man, Yanze Pierre and Justin Hill have been doing well, stepping up. Deontay Lawson was also moved down to the position at times. I think to almost a slight fault, Kane tries to move those guys around and throw the offense off. I get it. And plus, you got depth issues. So if you got somebody that really knows how to sniff out a play, you want to move them around a little bit. Because like I said, we got an issue there because of these injuries. Not because they're not there, but we're still developing younger guys. And I think it's coming along because I'm seeing Edric Hill's name getting called almost every week. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. But the man is a monster. And if I could just get Steve Mboma to play like he played in them doggone other games I recorded way back, I think we're gonna be doing something serious in a couple of weeks. I do mean a couple of weeks. Defensive stats, is what I was saying. 14.6 points allowed by Missouri. Alabama is at 16. But when you compare to who we've been playing, they're 16th, we're 21st. I think 20th, actually. But Alabama has played against tougher offenses. Everybody knows that. Their run D is stout, but their pass D, especially dealing with Ty Simpson, is warlock out there when it comes to finding them zones in the middle, them gaps in the middle, and we got deep threats on the outside. So they got to be careful. Offensively, they score 45.2 points per game. I think Vanderbilt was 49. Let's keep that in mind. Alabama scores 36.4, 37th. But like I said, our efficiency per play, passes efficiency, they're tops in the nation. It's kind of a push when Missouri has the volume in their points and everything, but we have efficiency, especially against better teams. Say it's a push, but I'm not necessarily sure. Very good games on Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to call those in a little bit. I'm going to call this a lot of good games on Saturday. And I'm kind of glad we getting out the way at 12. Still expected to move that game for some reason. So the boys got his squad, dial in, got Alabama favored by 3 on the roll. I'll take it. However, I would love to see the running game take control and control that clock again and, take the game, just take the game into the second quarter and walk out of Columbia with like a 13-point victory. Just control the game by the second. Let's just get out here safely. 13-point victory, a little convincing. Let everybody know we ain't joking around with them. I mean, we favored by 3.5, but I think we can win by a touchdown. Getting ready for the other. We got a lot of people to play down the line. I mean, we got a lot of people to get ready for. But other games of impact, as PhD so eloquently brought up, roll tide to your PhD, there's some games I want to see. I'm done with Missouri. Missouri should prepare to get beat. Just go ahead and focus on the next week because we're not going to go into Columbia and walk out of there with an L. That's not exactly them right now. I'll say that. But other games that impacted me, Pittsburgh is going down to number 10. FSU, they're favored by 16.5. We need the Noles to keep winning, man. I hate this. I hope they, Pittsburgh offense, they're like their offense is like that, the rhythm of a broken metronome. You ever seen a metronome that moves like this? They're a mediocre team. I don't see it being no problem for them. I don't like Castellanos. Another really stinking team, whatever, but we need them to win. We just need them to win. Ohio State and Illinois. First of all, Florida State is favored by 17.5 points. Ohio State is going over to Champaign-Urbana in Illinois to play Illinois. They're favored by 27.5. Now, was it Indiana? Yeah, Indiana was in the playoffs, but Illinois was in the top. They were in the top 25 at least. I mean, they play defense like it's a suggestion. Man, Jeremiah Smith is gonna treat them like they are. Like he'll come out the huddle looking at a menu. Let's see. How do I want to? I want to eat. Do I want to eat in the corner of the end zone, or do I want to eat under the goalpost? No. I want to eat right here at the -1 yard line. Just right inside of the goal line. I want. Yes, table for one, please. He gonna tear them up. Ryan Day has his facial hair has more structure than the Illinois defense. I can't believe these, you know. And I'm gonna just say this too. If the Buckeyes roll and the Illini folds in the typical Big Ten versus everyone else, Big Ten East versus everyone else matchup, then this game is not competitive at all and turns out to be some big old joke, then just don't talk to me about how competitive too much that the Big Ten is. I don't care. Next up, number 6 Oklahoma going against Texas, who's ranked number. Texas is ranked number. Missing that right here. Texas. I had Texas. Oh, it appears that Texas is not ranked any longer. What happened? Texas is not ranked? Oh my God. Oklahoma going into I want to say it the politically correct way. This is the Red River rivalry. No longer the Red River bang bang. Anyway, Texas is favored, but unranked against Oklahoma because Oklahoma is going to Austin. Now the experts think the Horns are going to win. Is that some of that Arch Manning hype left over? Huh? Arch Manning is gonna go remind them that they gotta play defense. Now, Oklahoma got defense. I don't know how good it is yet. I ain't looked at it, but I'm thinking Oklahoma gonna win this game. Texas is trying to act like 15 years of whatever had gone by since they won that championship, but they looked terrible last week. But I think if the Sooners can pull this one off, man, Arch may try to do too much and make some mistakes. I'm a man. I don't know what he might try to do. Some people have suggested he need to be set out. They need to sort that ball down somewhere. Hey, ain't my call. Shout out to you, Sark. You didn't learn that at Tuscaloosa. Oregon, number 3 versus number 7 Indiana? Is this a basketball game? Now listen to this. Oregon is number 3. Indiana is number 7. Oregon is favored by 24.5 doggone points. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How is that even a thing? Number 17 is a 24.4 underdog at home. That's just stupid. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. The Hoosiers are suited for basketball season. Ducks gonna win this by a mile. Unless something crazy happen. I'm gonna peek in on that game because it is a game of top 10 matchup. Somebody check that because that might not be right. That sounds crazy. Basketball season is around the corner though, so shout out to you, Indiana. Go sit down somewhere you suck. Arkansas versus Tennessee. Tennessee's number 12. I'm just checking that out because the Weasel is back. By Petrino. He's a weasel. He's a weasel and a rat. Every time I hear him talk, I hear the voice when he left the Atlanta Falcons high and dry. I hear when he left in the middle of the night, I hear the sounds of a girl falling off a motorcycle. Every time he talks, I hear. You ever watch those documentaries of those little underground rodents and stuff? How they be? That every time I hear, he could be saying, "Well, we're going to be giving $500,000 to the National Motor." I don't hear nothing but that. That's all I hear, because the man is a weasel. So be careful, Tennessee Volunteers, with your snitches. Arkansas usually has more broken plays than a middle school drama, but these snitches at Tennessee's QB arms, it's a little inaccurate. But it's more than dangerous for anything Arkansas has unless the weasel sets in. Be careful out there. Let's see. Tennessee is favored by 10.5. They got the crowd, but that man is a weasel. And trust him. Don't leave him in the room with your girl. Don't leave him with your girl, dog. Don't leave him with your girl. Don't leave Bobby Petrino in the room with your girl. Some folks you can't leave your girl in the room. Don't do it. Florida. That's already. Anytime somebody's playing Florida, now we got to put the other team on upset alert. Number 5, Texas A&M. It's time to prove it. If you want to take the state, this is the time to prove it, Elko. You're favored by 6.5 with Florida coming to town. Now, I still don't know how Florida won that game, but it is what it is. Florida's defense couldn't stop a paper plane from reaching its destination before last week, but Elko's offense actually works, and that's a terrifying thought to a lot of people. I'm glad we don't play them yet. One more year, we're going to be ready for everybody. I think some people we probably don't want to play, but let's just get through this season. They're not on our schedule right now. So Aggies, pride, all that stuff, y'all go do what you do. Bill Napier, coaching is clock management, but even his clock management will make like Nick Saban get like he start scratching and itching. But I don't blame him, man. I believe in clock management. So all the best to you. That's probably if it should be a good game. But you got to admit that a lot of people at Texas, even than Eli, his surrounding cast and the defense, they didn't try to help him at all. And that's what I'm saying. It's not Eli, Arch. Arch, life ain't fair, man. It ain't fair. It just ain't fair. That's all I can say. Another game I'm looking at is this is interesting. Number 15, Michigan going out to California. It's already jet lag. Although Michigan plays well in California. Michigan is a 9.5-point favorite, but if USC wants to make a statement, they can make it right here. If he wants to turn that program around and make those people stick with his program, this coach, I can't think of his name, the guy, he right here is where he needs to do it, but he don't have no defense. And one thing I do know that Michigan still specializes in is being strong and bringing pain. They're going to pancake a lot of Trojans. Let me think about that for a minute. Pancake a lot of Trojans. Pause. Michigan's offensive line is going to pancake a lot of Trojan defenders like they owe them money. But I'm just saying, you got to bow their back. Lincoln Riley. Your team got to bow their back, man. You at home. You ain't California football, college football is dead. Dead in the water. Just found out today that somebody gave Stanford, what's the guy that used to be the coach for the used to be the quarterback for the Colts, who had to retire because of injuries. He's the GM for Stanford, and they're coached by Frank Wright. There's somebody that gives them $50 million every year, and they look like trash. I want to reach out to that guy right now. There's a school, sir, in Tuskegee. It's called Tuskegee, Alabama, Tuskegee University. They would love to have some of that money so we can put some kids through school. And then, if you want to just roll the winner, leave Tuskegee, go right over to Tuscaloosa, and give him that $50 million. Because giving Stanford athletics $50 million to put that on the field, that's almost ungodly, sir. Anyway, I think the Wolverines going to cruise. And my man's going to be probably crying on the sideline. These guys. I did not like that display. I would make fun of him forever. I don't care if he wins 16 national championships. I hope he don't win the 16 national championships without us winning 16. But I would always forever remember him stepping in for Coach Harbaugh, winning that game and just losing his ish. That was ridiculous. South Carolina over at LSU. I don't think South Carolina has a chance unless LSU just come out there flat. I'm telling y'all, even in today's day, do y'all realize that Coach Kelly actually cusses out players worse than Nick Saban, but to none effect? I think they just sit there and they get upset with him. And the longer they stay there, they go from having $100,000 that they saved to going to $300,000 that they saved. Then you start tuning them out as he's cussing. And then you say, can I just transfer somewhere so I get to the pros? Because this man here, he cussed too much at them kids, man. My 2 rules in this NIL era. You cannot lie to these kids, and you cannot disrespect these kids. You gotta know. You gotta know. They gotta know that you love them, that you do anything for them. I just don't think Kelly. He don't give me that kind of feeling that he has that kind of trust from his players. Let's was fixing the salad, so I missed what you said about Arch. I was saying, man, it wasn't all Arch's fault, man. The defense let the points be scored by Florida, and Arch didn't have a stellar day, but he didn't have an awful day, and people was dropping balls left and right. So one thing quarterbacks can't do, even Jalen Milroe, fantasy is, you can't go run and catch your own pass. That's all I said, PhD. I watched the whole, just have to watch the game to see, like, this is a Sarkisian problem, which is crazy because, Sark is one of our most prestigious graduates of the Capstone Coaching Clinic, and I'm seeing stuff from all these guys that they didn't learn in Tuscaloosa. That's all I'm saying. But South Carolina should be able to go in here and be competitive, but they may lose by over 14 points. Unless, I'm still waiting for the Norris Sellers to have that statement game. This could be a statement game for the Norris Sellers. He's a couple weeks after the concussion. He may go out there and just do some stuff, and he may think here's the Heisman hopeful stuff, or maybe I think Mel Kiper start putting his list out and like, man, number 12. Maybe he'll get focused in and like just start throwing people the ball, hit them in the hands even more so they can drop less. God, receivers are not that good over at South Carolina right now. But they should win. LSU should win big, but gotta be careful. Coach Kelly, you just down there doing too much. You take one more loss, though, you're gonna be somewhere with old Coach Ed. Your brother, show me where the door is. Go Tigers. That man got so much money with $17 million. He's still on the beach of California talking, go Tigers. And last but not least, number 10, PhD's come back in. I've seen memes of Arch working at McDonald's. Yeah, man, come on. Come on, man. Number 10, Georgia Bulldogs will be visiting the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers are 17.5 point underdog at home. The place that's cursed. Auburn offenses move slower than the line at Toomer's Corner on a losing weekend. That turnstile, I'm thinking, Coach Freeze, just if I may, for that turnstile pass blocking technique you're using is pretty crappy. Yeah, that whole thing where the guy he touches the guy, he just turns around like, woo, woo. No, you don't stop doing that. Kirby Smart's defense is going to chew up the Auburn Tigers like they're leftover UGA practice energy gummies. They're going to jump them up, spit them out. But I do not think Georgia wins this game by 17.5 points. I think Auburn covers this game because they're stubborn. They're hard-headed. They don't know how bad they are. They're going to fight, and give it the old school spirit and all that stuff like that. The only thing that Auburn is consistent at is losing right now, especially to Georgia, in very embarrassing ways, and vice versa for Georgia. Last time they won, I think it was a tip by two players trying to get an interception. Instead of knocking the ball down, dude caught the ball finally and went to the end zone. But the Dogs, the experts think they're going to win by almost 3 touchdowns in the minimum. Even Georgia fans will be yawning at halftime. And hopefully the sound of the Georgia fans yawning, hopefully, I'm not guaranteeing nothing to people that will be in attendance, but hopefully all that yawning them dogs going to be doing, hopefully it help drown out the sound of the crying coming from the Auburn press box. So troubling. That's just troubling, man. Troubling. I got to get out of here. That's just a troubling. Guys going to be in there crying. Hey, but don't forget, smack the subscribe button, flick the notification so you'll know when I go live or drop a video. Thank y'all for joining me this evening. Let's continue to grow the channel, folks. Poke that like button right in the eye. Make it well up. Make it turn red. Tell everybody what we're doing over here when you get back to the office this weekend. What? Debate. Oh, my God. Hey, man. They're gonna be crying in the press box, man. They're gonna be crying. Hopefully, but the dogs over there stretching like this. Hopefully, it'll drown out the sound of all that crying in the press box. Somebody, because they saying, man, somebody may get the old AX after this game. But I'm hoping that Auburn gets an upset on 2-touchdown victory, and we get an extension, Hugh Freeze extension for 15 years with a alternative for another 3 negotiated. Shout out to you, Rod. Rod, thank you for checking in. Shout out to you, PhD. Thank you for checking in. But shout out to the folks at B Sharp, at Sharp Shooters Podcast, Kangaroo Black, Barrymore, The Long Run with Piano Man, Rags and Fitness Podcast. Thank you all for making Alabama great always. And I want to wish these next guys, a successful rodeo and bass fishing season. That goes out to the brothers at Auburn Attic, Water Cooler Podcast, Bub and the Old Man, SE season, and over at the Up Tempo Podcast. And let's not forget the AU loving, FSU loving, Huggy Beard himself, aka the Rooster Mac, and Vandy Chris at the Golden Brew Podcast. Can we be friends? Can we still be friends, Vandy Chris? Ryan Williams says hi, by the way. He said, Vandy Chris, hey, man, you ought to feel kind of normal right now. Heart ought to be back. Heart rate ought to be level. Everything ought to be normal, man. Get your blood work done. Hope A1C come back right. Cholesterol is fine. Sodium, you know what I'm saying? All the other little things, I don't know what they are. The hemoglobin, all that stuff. It ought to be normal now because your stuff probably been raging over the last year. But I'm hoping those teams, all you guys teams, have a great rugby season. I hope you have the best rugby teams in the nation. But with that, guys, I thank you for joining me. Shout out to you, PhD. Roll Tide to you. I will see you guys Saturday. I got some logistic issues going on this Saturday, but I'm usually checking in by halftime. I should be able to get back in touch by halftime, if not third quarter, because I may be watching and driving. I ain't even gonna lie. I'll be watching and driving. I mean, driving and watching. One way or the other, I'm gonna get there. So I'll see you guys this weekend, and remember to join me next Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode of Around the Herd. And with that, always remember, roll, tide, roll.